Okay, kiddos, here we have a little story about, I don't know, use your best picture power. What do you think? About a monkey sticking his tongue out at you. Is it Curious George? I don't know. But that monkey's really good at sticking his tongue out at you, isn't he? And it's just silly. I like that. That's what drew me in. I said, I just gotta read this story because, I mean, look at the details there. Look at that. I mean, like you and I can do that. We can be him or he can be us. And I think that's funny. I think the tongue is just so like ours. It's amazing. It's funny, isn't it? I just had to pick this story. That's why. I don't even know what it's about, right? Just based on picture power, you'd be like, it's a story about monkeys sticking their tongues out at people. And why not? I would read that. I'd be like, that's got to be funny, right? Right. But then I moved on right here, and we all know this word. It's animal. Gosh, we read so many animal stories. We know that word by now. Now, T-O-N-G. This is tricky. T says T. O-N-G says ong. You got tongue. 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 That makes sense, doesn't it? Tongue. You don't even have to go any further. Animal, tongue. Tongue. Tongues. Don't forget that S. Tongues. Okay, so it didn't say monkey tongues. So unfortunately, if you are a monkey aficionado, this isn't just going to be about monkeys. However, if you think sticking your tongue out at people is funny, then we're going to have a lot of fun learning about how all different kinds of animals can use their tongues also. So I don't know if that made sense to you. If you're still interested, stay on board because here we go. All right, guys, look at that. I've never seen that before. He's got a blue tongue, a blue and black tongue. I don't know what he is. Is it a turtle? Is it a snake? Is it a lizard? It's a reptile, right? It's got rough, scaly skin, qualifier for reptilians. And look at that eye. Jeez, that's a pretty eye, though, isn't it? Even though he's scaring me. All right, anyway, guys, this is the title page. Why is it called the title page? Because it's the title of the story, and it's on a page, and it's in really dark font. So say animal tongues. All right, we got a monkey tongue, look just like ours. We got this dude's tongue. It looks nothing like ours. And he is definitely doing it, though, right? He's sticking his tongue out at us. All right, here we go. We got this bird sticking his tongue out at us. Little tiny tongue. Isn't this crazy? He's got a huge mouth or beak. And this little tiny tongue that's like, what, like a piece of string? What do you do with that? How does he eat his Lucky Charms with that thing? And anyway, then we got a lion. Wow, look at the size of that tongue. And you know you're looking at those teeth going, wow, how does he not bite his tongue all the time? Right? Easily bite his tongue all the time. And a orca, killer whale, and he is sticking his tongue out at us. And he has a short tongue, right? But it is big. It is like massive, even though it's short. And I don't know, they're all sticking their tongues at us. Like, you know what they're doing. You know the sound it makes when you stick your tongue out at somebody. All right, guys, I don't know if it's going to help us. This is the first page, and it is a seriously big kid book right here. That's a lot of words. 2 whole sentences in here. All right, guys, we need partner power, letter power, picture power too, because as far as we can go, we're going to have to really lay heavy on letter power and sight word power. All right, so you know this word, guy. Animals. This is a sight word, have. This is another sight word. M-A-N says man, Y says E. We have animals, have many. Okay, always reread after you do a few words to make it all smooth out. All right, K-I-N says kind. You add a D, you got kinds. What does that mean? Animals have many kinds of. Many kinds of what? What is the story about? You nailed it. Tongues. Animals have many kinds of tongues, all right? Right, it wasn't, I fooled you. It's not just a story about animals sticking their tongues out at you. It's a story about showing you how animals have different kinds of tongues. So, digging a little deeper, we have T-H-E-Y, and that says they. We have they. They, U-S says us. You add a silent E, it becomes a use. They use. Always go back with that reread power. Keep us on the right track. They use, look at this. This is such a hard word. T-H-E says the. You add a bossy I-R at the end, you have their. They use their tongues. How many times did I use my reread power? Like 2, 3 times there? It's so important with these big kid books. They use their tongues every time I go back. 2 more sight words. G-E-T, get, to get, and you can always reread even chunks. Like you see that? I just said to get. And All right, now EA is a Super Val team. A is silent. He says to E, Mr. E, say your name, please. E, go right to the T and say eat. Now, we spent all that power. Let's reread. They use their tongues to get and eat spiders, tacos, spider tacos. No. F-O-O, foo. Add a D, got food. They use their tongues to get and eat food. There you go, guys. I must have used reread power like 5 or 6 times right there. That's why it is so important to keep us on the right track. What's the first animal you think we're going to explore? You guessed it. I'm sure you did. You probably still don't know what it is. What is that? Look at its head. Look at the shape of this thing's head. This cool buzz cut he has, right? It's like a bottle, isn't it? Doesn't it look like the top of a bottle? And look how flat everything is. You know why? The shape of his head is so that it can fit into something small, right? Maybe a small hole. So he gets his head all the way into that small hole. He's like in the hole up to here, right? That's a lot of his head in there. And if that wasn't enough reach, look, this thing, his tail comes out and goes like double the size of his head, even further down into the hole, right? And what is he doing with his head and his tongue inside a hole that far? Besides getting his tongue bit by something in there, right? Can you imagine sticking that? Something's going to bite you. Whatever he's eating lives in a hole really deep, right? So he must have like a really sticky tongue. I don't even know what he is. You're probably guessing you know what it is, but let's find out. All right, so let's look at these words here. All right, thank goodness the words got a little easier. T-H-I-S, this A-N-T says ant. E-A-T says eat. We learned that from the last page. This ant eat. And then E-R is a bossy R that says We have this anteater. This is a sight word. Has a O-N-G says ong. We have long. This anteater has a long. T-H says th. I-N says in, thin. A long, thin. See how I just started right here? Reread. Long, thin tongue. All right. He is an anteater, and he's a long, thin tongue for slurping up. That's right. Lots of ants. Yummy, delicious, nutritious ants. Lucky him. Why couldn't we all have been born anteaters? Oh, my, oh, my. What is that? It's like something Matthew wants to take a look. Okay, what is that? It's like I don't know. He's covered in marbles and bumps. What is that? And look at that tongue. Forked tongue. He's got 2 tongues on the end of one tongue. And he's totally looking at you like, you probably taste pretty good, right? I'm sure he's thinking that. It's just that look. You probably taste pretty good. So, not him, us. Him, he's thinking about us tasting good. All right, so we don't know what it is. It's scaly and rough, so it's some kind of lizard-like animal. So let's find out with our best letter powers. All right, so there's that word this again. This, L-I-Z says Liz, A-R-D says R. We have lizard. This lizard, they won't tell us exactly what kind of lizard. It's a bummer. This lizard has a tongue. This is a really great sight word. W-I says with, T-H says the, with. This lizard has a tongue with, this is a number, dose, 2. 2, P says P, A-R says R, par. 2, see that reread power sneaking in? 2 parts. It helps me sound out decode. 2 parts, right? Confirm your word choice. It has 2 parts, doesn't it? Let's reread, smooth it all out. This lizard has a tongue with 2 parts. Doesn't it? Wish it told us more, but that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, we have a animal with a long blue tongue. And I mean, you know it's a giraffe. And giraffes got long necks and long legs. So he's like way up in the air. And if it wasn't high enough, he's got this tongue that shoots way out and is reaching for leaves. Little tiny green leaves. Can you imagine an animal gets that big and just eats little leaves? All right, he loves it. He wants to eat more and more of those leaves. So he's got some great reach. Right. All right, so let's take a look at these words right here. We have T-H-I-S one more time. Is this giraffe has a, right? Here's the tricky bits right here, these 3 trick words. D says duh, A-R says ark, dark. This giraffe has a dark, S-T-R says stir, O-N-G, ong. This giraffe has a dark, strong Tongue. Okay, it's strong. I wasn't expecting them to use the word strong, but I guess it has to. I bet it grabs not just leaves. I bet it grabs branches too and pulls them down. That's why it's strong. What is that? What is that? What is it? It is crazy looking. It's got the nose of a pig. It's got a beak, weird eyes, and ugh! Do you really want to zoom in on that? Look, they zoomed on for us. Ugh, right? That is just slimy and gross and dangerous and spiky. Kinds of awful things going on right here. Yeesh. All right, well, let's take a look what they got for us here. All right, content. Remember, we're becoming content experts on tongues, so we even have to learn the gross ones. All right, guys, you know this word. This, T-U-R, is tur, right? It probably was a turtle. This T-U-R, turt, and they had the ul. This turtle has a tongue. Here's a new word. It's a sight word, though. L-I-K says lick. You add an E, silent E, you have a like. This turtle has a tongue like a. W says what. O-R says worm. Worm. This turtle has a tongue like a worm. Why would he have a tongue like a worm? I don't know. What eats worms? If he lives in the water, what eats worms? And whatever eats worms, swimming around, right? Thinks they can go and eat the worm. And then what eats the whatever is swimming to eat the worm? This guy's beaks. Closed down. Dinner served. All right, next up, we got a Froggy. And there he is. And he's sticking out his sticky tongue and grabbing this gross bug right here. Delicious. So what kind of tongue do you think he has? Let's find out. Okay, T-H-I-S, you know it. This, F-R-O-G, frog. This frog, remember, always use letter powers to confirm word choice. This frog has a O-N-G, ong. We've seen long before. This frog has a long, there's a new word. S-T is a blend that says t. S-I-C-K says ick. You have a stick. This frog doesn't have a long stick, though, does he? Did he catch a long stick? Maybe. But Y at the end says E, so it's sticky. This frog has a long, sticky tongue. Long, sticky tongue, Mr. Frog. Doesn't look that long, does it? It looks mostly just really wide. Really wide and sticky. Oh, look, we have a kitty cat, and if you zoom in too close, his tongue turns into a brush. A brush. That's why they lick themselves so much. They're combing their fur. How cool is that? That's pretty cool, right? All right, look at this. T-H-I-S, this, C-A-T, cat. This cat has a tongue like a, you said brush, but how do you know? B-R is a blend that says burr, U says so we have a bruh. S-H says shh, we have a brush. Read it one more time. This cat has a tongue like a brush. Oh, look, this has got to be the last page. Look, there's a question mark at the end. That's a totally new pattern. It's got to be the last page. All right, so we're looking at a dog. We're looking at a little girl. And they're sticking their tongues at us. Stick your tongue right back at them. Yeah, give it back to them. All right. Now, all brand new words. This is a sight word, believe it or not. WH says what? AT. Not going to help you. You just have to go what. What is your... I'm sorry. YOU says you. You add a you have you. I can't help you. It's just a sight word. Your. What is your tongue? L-I-K says lick. Add an E. We say like. What is your tongue like? That's what they're doing. They're not being silly. They want to know. What is your tongue like? A mix of a few things, I'm sure, right? All right. That was a fun little story about tongues. Guys, you are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are now all content experts on animal tongues. Not just yours, but all different kinds of animals. Go to school. Go into class tomorrow and wow some friends on some serious tongue knowledge. All right. That's all I have for you today. It was a pleasure reading with you. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, if you want to be a sight word reader, a super reader in general, make sure you always practice your letter sounds, sight words, and read as much as you possibly can. And I'll see you at the next story.